Musicality.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for whoever is joining the stream. So as of right now, we don't currently have anyone co-hosting, but you guys are more than welcome to join the panel. Today we're going to be doing the monthly power rankings. So this is kind of the new thing on this channel. So we did one a month ago, and I believe I still have the current tiers as they were. So we're going to pull that up, and we are going to kind of go over all the teams that were on that list and just kind of talk about where they currently are at. And I even made it a point to go through all of the teams that we're going to be talking about today and pull up what their record has been since the last time we had this live stream. So that way we can kind of get like a gauge of where they are at and how we should kind of look at them. Kind of just getting like a full perspective in that sense. So first I'm going to pull up what the tier list had looked like and where we kind of like power ranked all the teams as of the last time we did this, which was February 14th. So exactly a month to the day, actually. So this is where we're at. This is what the power rankings were looking like as of a month ago. We had Liverpool, Barcelona, Inter, and Real Madrid in the tier 1. We had Arsenal, Atletico, Bayern, PSG in the tier 2. Napoli, Juve in the tier 3. Monaco, City, Chelsea, AC Milan, Dortmund, Man United, and Spurs in the tier 4. And I think a lot of what the reasoning is for the tier 1 teams. These are the teams that we felt like were the most consistent throughout the season, had done the most well in terms of just pure winning, and had given the best performances. And then tier 2 teams were teams that we felt like had that ability to be tier 1, but there was something like that was duly lacking in those teams that just kind of stopped them short of being tier one. Like there was a glaring weakness, whether it was offensively, defensively, or just a lack of consistency. Tier three was kind of like for teams that haven't really showed anything above any of the other teams in the other tiers, but have still kind of just been consistently at their decent-ish level. And then tier four were for teams that we felt like peaking wise don't have that high of a ceiling, or just teams that generally just haven't been playing well to begin with. So that's kind of the rationale for a lot of where these teams ended up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of just uh, reassemble, like kind of get rid of this tier list, and then we're basically going to start over from there. So I think I have to go to press reset. So we basically are going to be rearranging teams again. So I just realized that by doing it this way, I am going to have to get rid of some rows. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have it on the image I was on before. And I do apologize about that. Should have made sure that I had that clear earlier, but it is what it is. I did not do that. And while I'm doing that, just kind of give your thoughts on who you guys have been rating, which teams have impressed you in the last month. So I'm going to type that into the comment section. I want to see if you guys have any answers. Yeah, and also I just think this week has been, and again, I'm still doing that. I think this week has been a crazy week in terms of the Champions League and even in the Europa League. You know, obviously the tie with the Madrid derby, what happened with PSG and Liverpool. Mourinho's downfall continues. All right, so I have fixed the tier list. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to start with what's it called? AC Milan, I guess, are the first up on here. And so what are we saying about AC Milan? So obviously right now, currently, they haven't been doing too hot in the league. And I'm going to have the table pulled up for them as well. So they're currently 9th in Serie A. And then over the last month, their record hasn't been the best. I think they've only won like 2 games. They've drew 1 and they've lost 3. So, you know, that's not exactly good reading, if I say so myself, right? So, and I think even the teams that they did beat, like if we look at the impressiveness of the teams that they have beaten, they beat Lecce, who are where are they? They're 16th in the table. They lost to Bologna. They lost to Lazio, who were kind of their close rivals in terms of the league table. They lost to Torino. they drew with Feyenoord, and they had beaten Hellas Verona. So this isn't exactly an extensive list of giants that they're putting through the sword. I think Torino are in 11th. Hellas Verona are in 15th. So they've only really beaten lower level teams, and obviously that's not really going to fly if you're trying to move up in these power rankings, only beating the 15th and the 16th best team in the last month. So honestly, I'm probably going to keep them where they are. I think I had them, like, I know they were in D, so I'm probably going to keep them there for now. They've just not really been that impressive. They haven't had any really good performances, and so I don't really think they should be going higher up in the table. So yeah, tier 4 for AC Milan. Next up is going to be Atletico Madrid. Obviously, they just came off of losing to Real, so they're definitely not happy about that. In terms of their record as of late, they have 3 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. So, they haven't exactly been the most dominant of teams in the last month either. Although I would say that they are better off than, say, AC Milan, on even just looking at the strength of the teams that they have beaten, which I'm going to pull up their schedule and who they have been playing. So since the 14th, they drew with Celta Vigo, they beat Valencia, they drew with Barcelona, beat Athletic Club, and then they lost to Madrid in the first leg of the Champions League, lost to Getafe, and then beat Madrid in the second leg, despite the fact that obviously they still ended up going out on penalties. Now, on the account of Atletico, I do think they've probably had one of the more harder schedules in the last month. And that is definitely something that you have to take into account when you do things like this, right? Like, I'm not just going to put the record and just leave it with no context. Obviously, not losing, but drawing with Celta Vigo at home is not the best of results, given that Celta Vigo are, to be fair, they're not a particularly bad team themselves. They're currently 9th in the table, only really 5 points off of top 6. But of course, you don't really want to be losing or drawing with them at home. When you're trying to get in a title race with the top 2 of La Liga. What I would say though is that I think their performances against Barcelona warrant some praise, despite the fact that, from what I remember, they ended up they ended up conceding 2 of their goals from stupid corners, and they also obviously overall conceded 4 goals, which is not ideal. But Barcelona are a very potent attacking squad themselves. Is the reason why they're tier 1 in the first place. They beat Athletic Club, who themselves are 4th in La Liga and are comfortably 4th ahead of pretty much have been the best of the rest in the league. So that in and of itself is a pretty impressive win. Obviously lose to Madrid at home, not ideal, but there's no real shame in that. And it took a Brahim Diaz golazo. Not going to say golazo, but an insane goal by Brahim Diaz to do that. So that is definitely something else to keep in mind. And then losing the Getafe loss is probably their worst result when you take into all the context involved in this last month. And then despite the fact that obviously they're still going to go out of the Champions League, they still did well to at least beat Madrid in 90 minutes, even though they probably could have won by more. So, just to kind of on the terms of the strength of their performances, I'm honestly probably going to move them up into tier one. I do think that they've shown enough that they are good enough to compete with those teams. In terms of their major weaknesses, I'd still say for them is one, having a consistent goal scorer, and then being able to um, what's it called? Being able to not get stifled as easily. But I do think that overall, though, they are have proven to be a good team. So I'm gonna put them in tier one. The next team that I'm going to be doing is, so we have Barcelona. Now when it comes to Barcelona, they are living the freaking good life as of right now. So for them, I think currently they actually have not lost a game since that last since the last power ranking that we've had, which is pretty impressive. They right now currently 5 wins, 1 draw, and 0 losses. So that indicates that they've been incredibly consistent. Obviously, they had that first leg game against Benfica where they were able to keep a clean sheet despite the fact that they got a red card. So since that last power ranking we've had, they played Rayo Vallecano, they played Las Palmas. Their only draw is to Atletico Madrid. They destroyed Real Sociedad, and they beat Benfica over 2 legs. Obviously, they had their game against Osasuna postponed because of the unfortunate event that happened with their trainer / team doctor. So Barcelona, they've just been really consistent over the last month. And even in that Atletico game, I think they did really well to even come back and make it and score 4 goals after going down 2 goals within like the first 10 minutes. I think that's obviously been the most standout game just because of the difficulty of the opposition they played and how well they played for parts of that game. I do think the fact that they were kind of caught out and ended up choking that 4-goal lead does leave me with a little bit of a side eye, but overall, I'm not going to fault them too much because they still have a chance to go through if they beat them in the second leg. But overall, yeah, they've been playing well. They've been back in good form, so I'm going to obviously keep them in the tier one. Next up, we have Bayern Munich. Bayern have been a team that have, I want to say, been a little bit up and down. They've definitely had a lot of questions that they have needed to answer. I think for them, the main thing that they have kind of just needed to do is simply just prove that they can. Ooh, okay, we have someone just joined. Abdullah, welcome.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I just saw the link. What's going on?
So basically, what I'm doing is I'm doing a power ranking. So basically, what that is I'm kind of just ranking how good I think these teams have been over the last month. Because me and Chris, we did a power ranking about a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, I'm currently doing. So right now, I have on the screen. This is a tier list of how good I think they've been over the last month, and I have and I pretty much made like a chart of what their record has been in the last month. So I'm kind of just going through it right now.
Okay.
So while I'm doing pulling up the next team, you can kind of just give me your opinions on these three teams that I have right here. So Barcelona, Atletico, and AC Milan. Like I don't know if you, depending on how
For the
much of
power ranking, what is it like? How do you want me to rank it? Is it based on how much they've won? Like what?
yeah. So over the last month, so the performance over the last month of
Over the last month?
yeah, this like just this month.
Okay. This month, I'll say Bayern go first. Mm, PSG follow.
Oh no, I haven't gone to them yet. So just these three right now.
Or just three.
Yeah, wait, don't worry.
Uh,
We'll get to
Atletico.
PSG at some point.
I'll possibly go to for the top tier. I will go with Barcelona first
Mhm.
up, and Atletico go behind Barcelona, like down.
Okay, and then I don't. Have you watched any of AC Milan, or what do you think about them?
Yeah,
Because
I've not
obviously
been
we
impressed
know.
with AC Milan because they've not been doing very well. So based on my ranking, I'll possibly choose Inter Milan ahead of AC Milan. I will even put Inter Milan where I put Barcelona up where I put Barcelona because they're doing very, very well.
No, but I don't worry. I'm like, we'll get to them too. Because right now I'm just doing because I haven't gone to them yet.
Oh, okay, okay.
So right now, currently, we're about to do a Bayern Munich. So I have here their record over the last month.
Mm-hmm.
So they've had 4 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss. Um, so a lot of their wins have come. So their wins came against Frankfurt,
Okay.
Stuttgart, and
Mm-hmm.
as well as 2 wins over Leverkusen, and in the 2 Champions League legs. And then
Okay.
they lost to Bochum last week, but who, to be fair, aren't that high in the table. But they had like a red card, and then they also drew with Leverkusen and Celtic as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just kind of looking at, so obviously I think they've definitely been better now than they were like a couple months ago.
Okay.
Um, I think two, but it was probably the most impressive win they've had so far this season has, or at least in this month, was when the fact that they beat Leverkusen both home and away. 5-0 in aggregate, and even still, I think Frankfurt are top 3 in the table. Oh, he left. Okay, so I'll just kind of keep going unless he comes back. Um, but yeah, so Frankfurt, they're currently 4th in the table. So obviously they've been a good team this season. Obviously, it's not the same Frankfurt that had Marmouche, but still good team with the likes of like Ekitike, as well as other good players like Trapp, their goalkeeper as well. Um, I think for Bayern, the thing that's probably been the most impressive about them is they finally kind of been able to get over that hurdle of beating Bayer Leverkusen, who have definitely had their number over the last couple of years. And Leverkusen are definitely not a bum team in their own right. So I would say just based off of that and how well they've been, and the fact that they've even managed to keep some clean sheets as well, I definitely move them up into tier 1 now, because I think that was kind of the main question mark with them, was how good they could be defensively, as well as just kind of their ability to keep themselves consistent. Obviously, I definitely say that loss to Bochum, definitely side-eyeing them over that. But I do think right now that's probably more of a one-off than anything. But yeah, so I definitely put them in tier 1 for now anyway. And then moving on swiftly, we're going to be talking about their younger brothers, the Borussia of the Dort. So their record over the last month has been 3 wins, 2 draws and 2 losses. So they haven't exactly been the most hands down of teams. They haven't exactly been the most winningest of teams. In terms of the teams that they've played over this spell, so they've beaten Lille, they've beaten Union Berlin 6-0. They beat St. Pauli. They lost to Bochum, same as Bayern. They drew with Sporting in the second leg of the Champions League, and they lost to Augsburg at home. So, if we look at this in totality, beating Lille has definitely been their best result in this month spell. Lille are an impressive team in their own right, so I'm definitely not going to take anything away from them in that sense. However, losing to Augsburg, who are an average team, currently 12th in the table, losing to who else did I say they lost to? Losing to Bochum, who are 16th, despite the fact that Bayern lost to them as well. But the fact that those 2 losses came within this last month, it definitely makes me question how good they are. Union Berlin beating them 6-0 is impressive. St. Pauli as well, but the problem is both those teams are 14th and 15th respectively. So they're not that particularly high. And in fact, they've played the 14th, 15th, and 16th teams in this month spell. And the fact that they've managed to even lose one of those games is a bit making me look at them a bit weird. However, the fact that they went to Lille, and I think I would not even just beaten them, but they outplayed them as well, does kind of give me a bit of a what's it called? Reason to give them a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt. I think Niko Kovac just needs a bit more time with those dudes to kind of have them start cooking. I would say overall, I'd probably keep them in the tier 4 for now, because I just think with how their lack of consistency, I just don't really have the heart to want to move them any higher than where they are right now. I just don't think they've shown enough to warrant that as of yet. So I'd put them in tier 4. All right, next up, we have Inter Milan. So with Inter, obviously, they are currently first in the Serie A. And they've also made it through to the quarters of the Champions League. So you can clearly see them right now on the table. Obviously, have like a 1-point advantage. They're going to be playing Atalanta this weekend, so that's definitely going to be a stern test for them, given what Atalanta have been doing themselves. So with Inter, they have played 7 matches. They are currently, over the last month, gone 5 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. So definitely been one of the stronger teams in terms of form, in terms of who they've played. Since that live, they had lost to Juve 1-0, courtesy of that crazy assist from Kolo Muani to, I believe it was, I forgot who was the one that scored it. It was Conchichao that scored that goal. They had beaten Genoa, who are 12th in the table. They had beaten Lazio, who are 5th. They drew with Napoli away, in which they were very lucky to do that because they had been thoroughly outplayed. Beaten Feyenoord both legs, and had beaten Monza 3-2. And that Monza performance is a bit side-eyeing because Monza themselves are literally bottom of the league, and it took a monster second half performance for them to pull it off, going 2-0 down to begin with. So I'm not really going to give them that much credit for beating them because, they are the last place team. But, all in all, they still technically have done well in the spell. So despite the fact that I'm not just going to base off that one performance, right? Because obviously they beat a lot. They've played some tough teams in this spot, right? They played Juve, Lazio, and Napoli, which are 3 of the top 5. And they came away with 4 points out of that. They've beaten the teams that they should be beating, despite having to huff and puff to do that for some of them. So I would say, with all that being said, I'd probably keep them just in tier 1 right now. It's they're very teetering because their performances as of late haven't really give much to be inspired by, but you can't really hate on consistency. And so just based off of that, you kind of have to give it to them because I already have them in tier 1 to begin with, and they have not really done anything egregious to muddy that at the moment anyway. And then next up, we have the old lady. So Juve, as of right now, they are currently 4th in the table, just a point ahead of 5th placed Lazio. They've had 3 wins, a draw, and 2 losses over the last month. And the thing I would say with Juve is that, we really gotta. I don't really like Thiago Motta. Like Thiago Motta's job is really starting to look a bit questionable. Obviously, they had that really good win against Inter Milan. And unfortunately for them, it was been kind of inconsistent because they followed that up with a 3-1 loss to an injury-riddled PSV. And then they had followed that up with a 1-0 win against Cagliari. And then they had drew with Empoli, but I think they ended up losing out to them in penalties. So, you got to look at them questionable there, considering Empoli are 18th in the table, beating Hellas Verona, and then gone slopped up by Atalanta. So the thing that I'm really having to question when it comes to Juventus is the value of their wins, right? Like they beat, that you beat a team in 18th place and another team in 14th place. But, against the big boys, when it's really mattered, they just haven't really been that convincing. Obviously, I know they beat Inter. So I'll say, I guess I can't really say that. But I guess maybe with Juve, it's just been a matter of a lack of consistency for them. Like that Atalanta performance was disgustingly bad, like terrible. And so much so that I literally made a video on it. So cheap plug on that. But overall, yeah, I just think a lack of consistency from them. I just can't really put them, like, I don't know. I don't know where I'd even want to put them, to be honest. Because I think last month, where did I'm trying to remember where. Last month, I think I had them at tier 3. So have they really done anything to go down? Because losing Atalanta the way they did is definitely, against side-eyeing, but beating Inter, I'd probably say offsets that just a little bit. But then losing to PSV is like, I'm going to keep them tier 3 for now. Because I think maybe they're positive. The fact that they have a positive record, I'm not going to dock them just based off of that. And based off of that Inter one, because I do have Inter as a tier 1 team. So I think just based off of that, I'm going to leave them in tier 3. But it's definitely looking not good for the old lady. Next is a team that I didn't really cover in that last month, but I definitely want to cover now because I think they've been really good and they've been really underrated this season. and that's going to be Olympic Lyon. Shout out to them. Obviously, they had a really tough time of it last season, being like in the relegation zone for like the first half of the year. I think this season. Hello to you, Raven, or Revan, if I'm not saying your name right. Welcome to the stream. Basically, we're having like a power ranking. So we're just kind of going over how I think each team has been doing for like the last month. I have all of their. Oh no! I'm a Chelsea fan. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on what time of year, what season it is. But no, I'm a Chelsea fan. So I guess maybe I would ask what. I guess maybe I'd ask what team are you a fan of, or what club are you a fan of? Should I say? Okay, so I find so Bayern. So funny if I literally just spoke about them. So I currently do have them in tier one because I think over the last month they have been better. Just from what I've seen. Uh, like currently their record over the last month has them at what's it called? 4 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. Um, and I think for me, the reason why I have them tier one now is because of the fact that they've been able to get over that hump of um, beating by Leverkusen. Because I know like that's been a team that's been a thorn in their side for the last couple of years. They've even gotten some clean sheets in there. So I think overall, yeah, you guys have definitely been on the up and up. But I would be curious to know what your thoughts are as a Bayern fan. Do you think I overrated them? Do you think I'm not giving them enough credit? So I'm just going to pose that question in the chat. But I'm just going to keep going with the club that I was talking about. Really? I'm surprised by that. So why would you put yourself so low? Because I think you guys have beaten some impressive teams. Like you guys have beaten, you guys beat Frankfurt 4-0. You guys beat Leverkusen twice. I know you guys lost to Bochum last week, but I do think that performance was more of a one-off. But yeah, I'd be curious to see why you would say that. But while you are typing that, I'm going to also continue where I left off because I think I was talking about Lyon and their impressive form over the last month. So Lyon over the last month, they have won, I think, like 7 games. Yeah, they've won 7 and they've lost 1. Or sorry, they've won 5 and they've lost 1. My apologies. So I definitely think I probably put them tier 3 just because like the most impressive team they've beaten in this run was probably Brest, who themselves haven't exactly been having the greatest of seasons this year compared to obviously making the Champions League last year. But I just want to highlight them, and they destroyed Basel in the Europa League yesterday. So let's see if you commented. Hello, Barcelona, cool air. how are you doing? I know I can obviously tell you're a Barca fan. Currently, what we're doing is we are having a power ranking, and I'm basically basing this power ranking off of how teams have been doing for the last month of the season. So I had you guys in tier one because you guys have definitely been cooking. In fact, I think you guys are like the only team on this list that hasn't lost a game this last month. So just kind of let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think that I'm giving your team enough credit? Like how well do you feel about your team over the last month of the season? And also, don't forget to like the stream and subscribe to the channel as well, guys. Just cheapy plug that in as well. And I'm gonna keep going on the list. So I think next up I have who's next on the tier list? It is Manchester United. So when it comes to the glorious city of Manchester, currently they've been very okay. That's probably the best way I can put it. They're a bit of in a weird spot right now, just because their record isn't particularly good, in all honesty. However, I was really impressed by their performance yesterday. So much so that I think they may have possibly turned a corner. And like I would definitely put that as a possibility. So currently, over the last month, their record has been 2 wins, 4 draws, and a loss. And then if you look in terms of the strengths of their opponents that they've played, we are going to look that up right now. So we're looking at a 4-1 win over Sociedad yesterday, who Sociedad are not a bum team in their own right, even though I know they have been having their own struggles this season in La Liga. They obviously drew with Sociedad away. They drew with Arsenal at home. They drew with Fulham, even though I lost them in the FA Cup. They had beaten Ipswich at home in I wouldn't say not that convincing of a performance, but it is somewhat impressive given that they had 10 men. Drew with Everton, coming back from 2 goals down. And then they had lost to Tottenham. So, Tottenham are having a particularly good season themselves. And Everton, despite being in good form, aren't that high up the table themselves either. Even with the Fulham game as well, they didn't play particularly well. And Ipswich are in the relegation zone for a reason. So, really, like, their only good win or good game even really has probably been the draw against Arsenal and the 4-1 against Real Sociedad. So I'm just going to keep them tier 4 for now. I think they've had 2 games to really start building momentum on. So it's really for them just about continuing where they left off. If they can do that, who knows, maybe they can start to move up in the tier list. But for now, I'm just going to keep them tier 4. And I think next up, we have Manchester City. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm gonna because I see your comment, Raven. So I'm definitely gonna. So I see here he says that Leverkusen isn't that impressive anymore compared to last season. We finally beat them. Honestly, I take our victories over German teams seriously because we always own them, and then our real test is in the UCL every season. I mean, you're definitely not wrong there, but I mean, I still definitely think, even though Leverkusen haven't been as good this year as last year, I don't really think the difference in terms of their quality is as much as you think it is. I think part of that is just because even last year they they lost, they won and drew a lot of games like in the last minute. So it's not as if they really you know have fallen off that much compared to last season. I just think they haven't had that ability to go to extra mile when it counts. But I don't really think they're that much of a significantly worse team, generally speaking. And even then, I think the way you guys dismantled them, I mean, you guys beat them 5-0 on aggregate. Like, German team or no German team, they're in second place, and they're in second place comfortably. So the fact that you guys over two legs were able to do that to them, especially when, because I think a lot of pundits were trying to pick them over you guys, to get through the round of 16. I still think that's impressive, but obviously that's why we do these monthly power rankings, because it's going to change on a month-to-month basis. So if you guys beat Inter, then we'll know for sure that you guys have to stay in this tier. If Inter beat you guys, then we may have to ask some questions. If Inter beat you guys, like if they destroy you guys, then we're gonna have to have some very uncomfortable conversations. But I think for now, I think you guys have done enough, to be honest, to be tier one. And it is weird though, because I don't have any tier two teams at the moment. So maybe that's also why it's kind of hard to gauge what team should be in that second tier. So next up we have Manchester City. So over the last month, their record is a bit funny. They have 3 wins. Okay, I have someone joining. Hello, how are you? Okay, he's still mute, so I'm just gonna wait for him to.
All right, sorry. What's up, bro? What's up?
So how you doing?
Good, bro. Well, what you doing? And what's the ranking
So,
about?
so basically, for some context, I had like a power ranking last month, about a month ago.
Mhm.
So that one was like the first one. So I was just kind of going over how I thought the other teams were doing over the last season. So this power ranking is kind of like a part two to that. So I'm kind of just like basing them off of where I had them to begin with. And I have like a chart of like kind of their records over the last month. Um, so I've just kind of been going through it and kind of seeing if I think any of the teams should go up or down just based off of like what their record says and like the caliber of the teams they've played over the last month, basically.
All right. I see.
So I guess why before I even continue, because right now we're gonna be on Man City. Just kind of like, so far I've done about 9 teams. So do you have anyone in particular you want to talk about where you think, or do you think anyone should be up or down? Obviously, I know you're a Barca fan. I think you're a Barca fan just based off of your picture.
Yeah. I'm a Barca fan. I'm gonna say, hmm, I think PSG this season. I think they are surprising.
Don't worry. We haven't gone to them yet. Yeah, don't worry. We'll talk.
So we're at the Benfica, right?
Yeah. So yeah. Also, yeah, because this
But
was like
believe it or not, right? So Benfica, yes. No, I would say third tier, bro. I think I'm not impressed with what they're doing, even though I think they're second. Let me check.
actually don't worry because it was actually meant to say next. I need to like because I couldn't really find like a good tier list that I could just like declutter. So I was just kind of going. I usually like put like the teams that I'm gonna put like um first. Hold on, give me a second. So basically, any of the teams um after Tottenham, we're not we're not really gonna talk about them.
Okay, after Tottenham.
So basically, yeah, like any team before Tottenham, we're going to talk about them. But don't worry, we're going to get to City in a second. I just want to know if there was anyone on the list right now that I've already talked about that.
Oh, that what I would adjust.
Yeah, if you think there's any
I
adjustments
put
that.
a lady in second tier. I mean, yeah, I think they spent a lot this season, and they should be doing better than what they're doing now. Um, I think they spent 90 on Alvarez, and they signed a very talented striker in Sorlo. Um, yeah, for me, Cholo he's not doing his best with what he has. I think Alvarez is doing a lot better in his free role, but overall he has a lot more firepower that he's just keeping at the bench, and I just don't understand what he's doing. Juventus, I would put Juventus even lower. I think they are just lackluster. Um, I haven't been keeping up with the Milan. I think that's not Milan. That's I'm not even seeing that right. That's
Are you talking about? Are you talking about what, Lyon or Dortmund or?
let me see, Dortmund.
Because I do have Milan. Milan is the team in tier 4 on the left.
Uh-huh.
Their logo just kind of zoomed in for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's something I was getting confused there. Um, yeah, so Milan, these guys are awful as well. Yeah, I agree with most, except for Alede. I'll put Alede in second tier. I feel like they should be top of the league and doing a lot better based
Because I
on
do
the
think
amount
it's
of money they spent.
because I do think because I did have Athletic in tier 2 last month. Because I could even show you because I made like a chart of what's it called? Each of these teams' records.
Mhm.
Um, and then I also because the thing with Athletic was I also was taking into account like the actual teams that they've played, right? So because I know they obviously they drew 4-4 with you guys.
Mhm.
They lost to Madrid once. They beat Madrid once, right? They beat Bilbao, and then they've lost to like Getafe. So I think over the last month, I think a three because they've won three, they've drew two, and they've lost two. And I just think the caliber of like the wins that they've gotten. I think for now, that's why I put them. I think just based off of this month, I think
Mhm.
they've done enough to be tier 1. But like if you were talking based off of the entire season, I'd see your
Yeah,
point.
I'm going based on the entire season because even at the end of the month right now, even now they dropped against Getafe, another game that they shouldn't have don't have lost at all. Um, I think they're slowing down. They're slowing down right at the end of the stretch. Um, but to be honest, maybe I'm a bit too harsh because I'm focusing more on what they added into their squad. But to be honest, it's Atleti. It is the third
Yeah.
best.
Like if you're talking course of the season, yeah, I could definitely see the tier 2 argument. I just think over the last month when you consider like the teams that they've had to play, the fact that they've played y'all Madrid twice and like the team in fourth, so they've literally played like all of the top 4 teams. I think they've done like a decent job. That's the only reason I have them that high. And then because who else did you say you want to? You said you wanted to put Juve down, right?
Yeah, yeah. For me, Juve haven't done enough. I feel like another again they have good players, but they should be doing a lot better. With
I'm not gonna lie. The only thing keeping Juve in tier 3 was the fact that they beat Inter, like over the time span I'm looking at. Because if it wasn't for that, yeah, I would agree with you. Like they've been poor, but I'm more so just giving them the benefit of the doubt. But I wouldn't. But I don't really blame you for putting them tier 5.
It's a talent. They have talent, bro. I don't understand what's going on with Juventus. Man. Like Inter, the half decent team in the Syria. I'm not shocked. Like, well, let me check the Syria. No, I've been taking a huge break from other leagues that are not a football, but let me just once in a while I tune into Juve. Let me search out real quick.
No, you're good.
I'm
Yeah,
on
what's up to you, 87? Um,
for sport.
maybe just rank UCL teams.
Yeah, it seems that win against Inter really pushed them up to fourth place.
Yeah, that like I said, that's it. Like it was if they had lost to Inter, like I would be looking at them. I'd be studying them even more than I already am. But I've already
Then
started them anyway.
this is. I'm sorry for the Serie A guy, bro. This looks really bad on Serie A, bro. How many games did these guys drew? Like they
Oh, I
were
know.
drawing a lot of games this season, and they still
Yeah,
managed to
because the
squeeze
thing with
fourth.
Juve too that's so weird is a lot of their draws are like scored, like decently scoring draws as well. So that's what I always find funny.
I'm look, I'm watching so they got a good stretch of wins, but I remember they were drawing like
They
that's
better get
crazy. Like
off.
the table isn't even that far apart.
Yeah, no,
Like they
they had a chance to get back into the title race before they got smacked up by Atalanta.
Atalanta. Oh yeah, that just happened. Atalanta destroyed them. I think it was a 4-0. Oh, it had zero chance.
Actually,
Napoli.
you know what? Now that because I'm really deep in it now, I think you might be right, but like losing to Atalanta like that, yeah, that's bad. I agree.
That's really bad, bro.
Yeah,
Like
honestly, yeah, you've convinced me.
Lukman,
I'm
yeah,
pushing you because I don't because beating Inter 1-0 isn't enough. I don't think is enough to offset the fact that they lost Atalanta like that, especially the fact that they lost to PSV as well. All right, so I'm fine with this.
I'm
I'm fine
gonna
with
lie,
this.
I haven't been keeping up with Syria, but liking this competitive title race between Napoli, Atalanta, and Inter.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely going to go down to the wire, especially because I think Atalanta are playing Inter this weekend, so we're gonna see how the table shapes up. But all right, if you don't have any other objections, I'm gonna move on to City. Is that cool?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right,
Go ahead,
so
go ahead.
yeah, so City over the last month, they've won 3 and they've lost 3. Their 3 wins have come against Tottenham, Plymouth, and Newcastle, and their 3 L's have come against Real Madrid away, Liverpool at home, and Nottingham Forest. So it's weird because I'd say their schedule have actually been pretty hard. Um, because I had them at tier 4 a month ago, and I would say losing to Madrid away and Liverpool at home isn't that egregious. The Nottingham one does make me look at them funny, despite the fact that Nottingham Forest are third, because I don't think they're that good, to be honest. And then are we giving them any credit for beating Tottenham away?
I guess based on their poor season already, for me, like I would have given City a lot of leeway this season if it wasn't for the fact that they signed that striker that was informed that he was one of the best. Um, I'm looking at what City is a mess right now. It has been they haven't been able to even recover 50% of their of what they used to be. They're just in a pretty bad state. I say this is their poorest season in such a long time.
No, I agree.
And the crazy thing is, like, I won't crucify City like that because we're talking about a team that has been so consistent competing for titles for such a long time. Um, hmm. Well, unfortunately, if we have to base it on the last couple of months, and I get it, losing to Madrid, it's not that it's not a crazy thing. Is that you can lose to Madrid, you can lose to Liverpool. Spurs are Spurs, so I don't like the fact that they struggle against Spurs is more of them, you know. But they managed to beat them, so I guess that's something. But since we're being harsh with everyone else, we have to put them at the bottom, in my personal opinion. It's tier 4.
See,
Guys, again, they had time to they signed Nico no I said Nico signed Nico Gonzalez from Porto, and then they went and signed that striker. I don't want to butcher his name.
Oh no, you're talking Mamouche, right?
Oh yeah.
The only thing I would say though is unlike all the other teams in the bottom, they've actually won a decent amount. Because I think Milan have only because I think Milan won twice, United twice, and then so I would give them a little bit more leeway because especially because for this last month their record is improved, I guess. The only thing I would say is you see 87 you do have a point there too. Yeah, their performances because they beat Newcastle convincing. They beat them pretty convincingly too, actually. I don't know. I would say for now, I think I put City tier 3. I think because I think they've been okay enough that I don't think they've been as bad as United and like Dortmund and Milan like over this last month. Because you have to keep in mind, I'm talking specifically just the last like 30 days too, Vic. Because Dortmund they were out here losing to teams like in the bottom half of like the Bundesliga, and I think Milan the only team they've beaten are like the teams in like 16th in like the Serie A. So like City have actually beaten teams in like the top half of their league. So
Yeah, and I guess third tier is more reasonable after that. And but it still
oh yeah, no,
doesn't
like
change the
yeah,
fact that how really bad they are, you know. But for the last month, I think they have been getting up there. But it's such like it's such like I can't watch City. City is annoying to watch right now.
oh yeah, no, I definitely don't disagree there.
Like Savinho is a guy I used to like at Girona, and he's annoying to watch at City.
Because it's funny because I felt like he was turning a corner a month ago. He had like a good performance against Madrid. And he played well against Newcastle too, but he's definitely been in and out of it for the last couple of weeks.
My issue with a player like that is the fact that when he's into space, like, he has the ability to dribble past guys. He creates his own space to whip in across, and he's incapable to cross the ball into the box. I don't know why. What he prefers to pass it back, and for me that's frustrating. And nothing makes me more angry than a winger that doesn't cross the ball into the box when he has clear opportunities to do it. And he has guys like Haaland just waiting, begging for a cross in there. Even a player like Balde from Barca, who's a left back that struggles to cross. He isn't that accurate. He still, when he has space, he doesn't care if he's good or not. He's gonna whip that ball into the box somehow. For me, strikers should be more brave in that aspect. So for me, I remember he wasn't like that when he was at Girona. Girona, he was doing all kinds of chance creation, through balls, crosses. Now he's more preserving everything, and for me, that's been killing City. It's killing their performances for me. And again, if you're gonna sign players with a lot of money, then you better have a boost in performances. So I expected them to compete better against Madrid and Liverpool, and Spurs are Spurs. So, but tier 3 for now, I'll give them that as well, meaning for the fact that this is a bad season for City. And it's not the end of the world. I think once Rodri returns, you're gonna see a much more better City.
I definitely think your assessment is fair. So, all right, and now we're moving on to Liverpool. Obviously, they're not coming off the best results currently. I think so. Over the last month, their record is 5 wins, a 1 draw, and 1 loss.
Yep.
See, because the thing what I would say with Liverpool is I feel like their performances haven't really been. Can't find anything on Twitter. Okay, hold on. So you're trying to get in. See. Well, yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to get this because the guy wants to join. But while I'm trying to do that, you give me your thoughts on Liverpool.
Liverpool, for me, it's clear to me that they're more focused on the league. Winning the league against PSG. I think PSG were better in both legs.
Mhm.
And for me, it seems like Liverpool just wasn't willing to go 100% against PSG at Anfield. I feel like they were already like, we'll see what happens. Overall, for the past month, they've been very consistent, very counter-attacking team. Like a lot of their goals have come off the break, so they've been very precise. Very for me, very good team, very attractive to watch. Um, they're steamrolling the Premier League, and they keep on doing it with a very consistent Mohamed Salah. Um, yeah, for me, they deserve the tier one. That's where I put them. That's where they belong. Even though they got bounced out by PSG, the league is still impressive. Let's not forget this. Yeah, no City is out. Arsenal are Arsenal. Um, you still gotta win the league somehow, and Salah is stepping up. He's being consistent. Liverpool deserves to be up there as for me. They're already champions. They don't even know what we're waiting for now. Um, yeah. Other than that, PSG lost. That's the only blunder they had. But again, they didn't even lose that bad. They lost the penalties, which is
Yeah,
it's tough. It's tough.
yeah, no, I definitely agree there. I definitely think like just based off purely off of the record. I mean, yeah, 5 wins, one draw and a loss. Like you can't really put them anywhere below that because I think. Oh, I would just say like over the last week and a half, right? Like they didn't look particularly good against PSG in either leg. Um, and then even Southampton, like yeah, I know they won obviously, but the performance wasn't that convincing. And I mean, Southampton are like the worst team in the league for a reason. But to be fair to them too, they've also beaten City and Newcastle, so those probably been their best wins um, over this last month. And then Reven, is it Reven or Raven? How do you want to pronounce it?
Just say Raven.
Oh, Raven. All right. Welcome to the stream as well. I know you said you're a Bayern fan,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I know you kind of get the because I yeah. So yeah, thanks for coming because I know you've been here for a while, so I know you get the gist of what we're doing. So before we move on, do you have anything that you want to change about the list as it is right now?
No, I agree with everything you guys have said.
Okay. Okay. Cool. 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 All right. Next up, we have Arsenal. Um. So for the last month, honestly, I think I might just put this chart on because it's kind of getting tedious trying to type this. So do you guys see the chart?
Yep.
So Arsenal over the last month, they've won twice, they've drawn 3 times, and they've lost once. And then to give more context, so they beat Leicester, the one Marino decided he was going to become a striker. Lost to West Ham at home, drew with Nottingham Forest, beat PSV 7-1, drew with United, and then they drew with PSV at home. Yeah, so honestly, I don't think it's looking good for them. You know, when you look at all the injuries they've had, the fact that they have lost, they just haven't really had that many good performances, to be honest. Like outside of the PSV game, even the other win that they got against Leicester, it took them like to like the 80th minute to score against a team that can't defend for their lives. So honestly, I think when it comes to Arsenal, where do you guys see them right now, or where would you guys want to put them? Or even I'll start with you because obviously you just got here. So
I'd say tier two, maybe, because they're still second in the league, but they're 15 points off, like behind Liverpool, so that's a huge gap
Mhm.
that I don't think they can make up in the season anymore. I think it's too late, but yeah, they're just really inconsistent this season. So I'd say tier two.
Okay, now what about you, Vic?
Oh, I think he's muted.
Yeah. Okay, maybe he's not there at the moment.
All right,
Oh,
I'm back. I'm back.
okay, no problem. So yeah, Arsenal. Where would you have them? Just based
All
off
right.
of
Hmm, this is gonna be extremely controversial.
I was
I'm gonna
hoping.
put them in third.
Third. Wow. Okay.
Nah, bro. No, it's just an agenda thing. Look, but the frustrating thing about Arsenal, right,
Hmm.
is the fact that with all the talented winger and attacking midfielders, central midfielders, they don't have someone to be in the box and to finish their chances. They have a lot of moments where the likes of Kai Havertz keeps losing the ball. They have a lot of forwards that keep missing their chances and they keep having to track back. That's why you get a lot of injuries. For me, the main issue with Arteta and Arsenal is the fact that for some weird reason they want to do this false nine style of play that doesn't bring you the results you need, and they've been doing it for a couple of seasons where they were so good and consistent, and all they needed when there's difficulty and they need to squeeze in a goal or get something out of nothing. That's when they need their number nine, and they just don't have one. And that's what they're struggling with. Injuries as well plays a huge part, especially recently. I know they did good against PSV. Was that the team they played? Yeah. Surprising. Um,
Because I think, yeah, I think
and
with
not
sorry, continue.
go ahead.
No, no,
Sorry,
no,
you go
no,
ahead.
no.
All right.
I was gonna say.
Third is an exaggeration. I think second tier for now.
Mhm.
Um, Again, I feel like poor planning. I just think they would have been in a much better situation with a striker. The guy from Sporting, the number nine, he looks like he's perfect for them. Like I genuinely see him doing well for our team like Arsenal. But my thing is with Arsenal, I always ask you if you get a striker now, is it already too late? Because every year past, players get older, they get less consistent, more injuries, you know.
Yeah,
So
no,
for
I
me,
definitely
like
agree.
get the key or components when you're at a good level, you know. They had multiple times to get a striker when they were close to winning a league title, and they did it. Liverpool are doing amazing. They have two strikers they can use. Salah is doing well. Jota comes in sometimes. What's the other guy? Gakpo. Even
Gakpo.
though he plays a much more winger role, he's more of a striker. There's so many options they have. Even Nunes might be a brick sometimes, but he's still on number nine and he can do something. If you give in his day, he can do something. So you just it's
Yeah, no,
about
I definitely agree with your assessment of Arsenal and putting them in that tier. I think Arsenal's main issue, like even outside of like attacking wise, even outside of the striker, probably like a secondary problem for them too is I think they rely too much on Odegaard and Saka to do the playmaking. Like I think they were significantly better when they had another playmaker in Xhaka, and I think too because I think Havertz was supposed to be that replacement, but he just doesn't have the same playmaking minerals that Xhaka did. And I think part of that has pretty much is part of the reason why Martinelli has fallen off too, because he's now being asked to be more of like a winger that like has to carry the ball and dribble and create, as opposed to being a guy that just kind of gets on the end of passes to like shoot and stuff, which I don't really think he has the capability of doing that. And I definitely do think if Arsenal had gotten a striker, that would have gone a long way towards like mitigating that issue because you at the end of the day, like you don't need as much playmaking if you have someone that can just get on the end of the chances you do create, right? That's like clinical. Um, and then I just think too, over like this last month, it's you can really see just how much they're struggling without Saka too, because my main beef with them is just how slow they are in terms of their build-up play. Like it takes these dudes like 4 or 5 passes just to like even get like a chance creation. and it just makes it easy for teams to defend against them. Like you saw in the like I don't know if you guys saw in that United game. Like United just had like one bank of 5, another bank of 3, and Arsenal could barely like get any chances off against them. So
Yeah, I think they should have won the league last season, honestly.
yeah, they're definitely gonna be kicking themselves for that. All right. So next up on the list is I forgot to come in here. Monaco. Which, to be fair, I don't really think we watch too much of. The only thing I would say for that, the only thing I can really know about them right now is they have this new striker that they got. I think his name is like Biref or whatever. That guy's going crazy. I think he has like 3 hat tricks or something in his first like 10 matches, some crap like that. But I think if you're, I think Vic left. I think if you're Monaco, the only thing I really say is you'd be disappointed that they lost to Benfica the way they did, because they had like a lot of chances to win the game, and
Yeah.
they didn't take advantage of it. So they'd probably be kicking themselves for that. But
Yeah, they started off the season really well, but ever since then it's been ups and downs for them.
yeah, I agree. So I'd probably even put them in tier 4, to be honest.
Yeah.
Now comes God, bro, my fucking bum ass team, Chelsea Football Club.
Hmm.
What are we saying? What are we saying, guy?
You guys are having a rough season, man.
Tell me about it.
I don't even know where to begin, bro.
Well, I mean, over the last month, 4 wins, 2 losses. We're not going to talk about who those wins are against, but they are there, I guess.
Yeah, a win is a win.
Honestly, if I were to be as objective as possible, I'd probably put them tier 3, to be honest. Because I think just the fact that they've gone 4 wins in a row, I think it would be too harsh to put them tier 4. But they haven't exactly gotten wins against the strongest of teams. So I can't really like give them too much credit. And they got outplayed by Brighton and Aston Villa. So, I can't. They haven't really been putting that much work against the top half Premier League teams. But that's really all I got to say on that.
Yeah, you guys are playing I think Arsenal in 2 days.
Yes, we are. So we're going to. For us, it's really important to try to get anything out of this game, because most of our players are coming back after the international break. And then at that point, it's just about like trying to get some momentum. So yeah, I think tier 3. I'm perfectly fine with tier 3 for Chelsea. Next up we have Napoli. Your thoughts?
Napoli, where are they in the league again? Are they first or second?
So they're currently second. They've been pretty poor as of late. They've actually only won one of their last like 5 games, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm looking at their stats.
Like I think for them, their main issue has just been they've really been missing Kvaratskhelia. Like their attacking stats have just kind of like taken an absolute nosedive since he's been gone.
Yeah. But they're still just 1 point behind Inter, so anything can happen in the league.
Mm-hmm. Like I think their only win of this came like literally last week actually, and they got like a 2 win over Fiorentina, who obviously themselves are a decent team in Syria. And even when they played Inter 2 weeks ago, I thought they completely outplayed them, and they were incredibly unlucky to not get that win. But
Oh yeah.
ultimately, like at the end of the day, what matters most is actually like getting the 3 points. So
Yeah, I'd say they would be uh I'd say tier 1, like at the bottom end of tier 1 maybe.
Wow, you have them. I'm not gonna lie to you. You have them way higher than me. I was gonna put them tier 3.
Okay.
No,
Yeah, I said tier one because they're just 1 point behind Inter, so I think that they still have a chance of winning the league.
oh, they definitely do. They definitely do have a chance of winning. And I'm more so putting them tier 3 because, like, one win in the last month is pretty diabolical. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah. In
Yeah,
that case, yeah, I think tier three is fine.
like yes, but they definitely need to get their butts in gear because they've just been doing nonsense. Okay, next up we have Marseille, or JLFC as I like to call them. And so all I really have to say about them is they start off the season pretty well. And I think honestly, I think I don't want to say they've fallen off, but
Yeah,
they've just been really inconsistent as of late. Like I think ever since like December, like they just haven't been as convincing as they were. I don't know.
yeah, they're like
No, this was
almost
second.
20 points off the top or something like that.
Yeah. They're currently second in the league. In terms of their record over the last month, they haven't really played too many games actually. So they've won 2 and they've lost 2.
Okay.
But I just don't really have much to say on them because like they're not gonna catch PSG. They aren't really I don't really think they're in any European competition at the moment. So they're kind of just there, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Um.
And like yeah, even the teams that they lost to are kind of average as well. Like they're like honestly, I'd probably just put them tier 3. Like I don't think they've done anything good. I don't think they've really done anything bad. They're just kind of there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Next up we have PSG, and
LSG.
I mean we can't call them that for right now anyway. They
That's true.
so funny enough, PSG actually have the most wins out of all of the teams in the last month. They're currently 7-1 in all comps. And obviously, we know that one loss came against Liverpool, but they got their get back in that sense. So,
Yeah.
where would you have them? Because I know where I put them, but
Yeah, I think tier one. It's just where in tier one I'm thinking.
I've really done like any order of the tiers. I just kind of have them.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I just have them grouped. So
Oh yeah, then yeah, tier one.
because I thought it would definitely not be first if I was doing all that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, they've been really impressive. You know, Dembele has been going crazy. The midfield's insane. Even defensively, I think I really like their center back in Pacho. I think the only thing they're missing is like an elite striker. Obviously, Dembele has been playing as that center forward, so they haven't really needed it as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't. Funny enough, I think the striker that they had before Ramos, Ekatike or whatever that plays for Frankfurt, I think he'd be really good under Enrique, to be honest.
Oh yeah. Didn't they have this what striker was it? Gurasi? I don't know. I can't think of.
No, because Garassi came from Rene. Because now they have Ramos, who
Oh, Kolo Muane, that's the guy I was thinking of.
yeah, that went to Juve.
Yeah, I think I generally think they should have kept him because he's a really good striker, honestly.
Yeah, but he just wasn't. I don't know for whatever reason he just wasn't performing well in it because he got a lot of he got a lot of game time last season and he just wasn't putting up the business. So.
Yeah, they're still performing well, so let's Let's see what they do in the UCL, I guess.
Hmm.
But right now, yeah, they're a tier 1 team.
All right.
Oh, okay. Their next game is against Marseille. That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, Marseille, they need to at least do something for their own pride, because yeah, PSG's just definitely been owning them. Ugh, okay. So I do apologize. I'm having a bit of technical difficulties right now. My computer's like freezing for some reason. Like, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So for some reason, my computer's freezing right now.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
yeah. So honestly, I probably just what I'm gonna do is, because I'm not gonna stop the stream, because we only have a couple more teams left. I'm just gonna read you like their records and stuff, and you just tell me where you would put them, and I'll just have to like fix it later
All right.
if that's cool with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I think the team that was next on here was Real Madrid,
Yeah.
and they, I think, I have to look up their thing again, but obviously they got the win against Atletico. They lost to who did they? I forgot, who did they lose to a couple weeks ago? Was it it wasn't it was
Betis.
yeah, they lost to Betis. Even though they went through the tie, I'm still gonna count the fact that they got outplayed by Atletico in the second leg.
Yeah, they
So
still lost 1-0, so.
yeah, so currently for the last month there, 5 wins, a draw, and 2 losses. But I'd honestly, I'd still probably put them tier 1, because they beat a lackluster City, they beat Girona, they beat Sociedad, they've beat Atletico, and they beat Real Vallecano. So they've beaten pretty good teams, all things considered. And they lost to Betis and Atletico. So it's not like they've been losing to bums. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tier 1.
yeah, I think yeah. So I think for Madrid, it's probably just more about getting themselves some more consistency, getting their players back. I think they probably need to get some more balance in their midfield. The midfield was just getting a bit too overran in that last game, because you could tell
Yeah.
Belgium was trying to do too much in terms of making those forward runs, and it was just leaving Modric and Chouameni, but especially Modric, exposed. And I think they were better when Camavinga came on. So I think once they
Yeah.
get right in the midfield and their attack, they'll go up another gear. And then next team is Roma, and they've actually had a bit of a resurgence under Claudio Ranieri. It's gone pretty under the radar, but I think right now they're currently in 7th, and they're only like 6 points off of Juve in 4th. And also, they were quite unfortunate. They ended up losing to Bilbao in the Europa League, because they had won in the first game, but basically they had gone a red card, and basically after the red card, the rest of the game was just spent with them trying to defend for their lives, and it was just
Yeah, I
not
think
working.
Hummels got the red card and that kind of disrupted their game plan or something.
Yeah, and because from what I've seen too, it did seem a bit harsh, but it is what it is. So I would probably put them like, for now, I'd probably put them tier 3. I think if they can keep stringing some more wins together, and they can somehow make their way into that top 4, top 5, then I would not mind moving them up a tier into tier 2.
Yeah.
And then the last team we're going to talk about is Tottenham. So they currently they are in 13th. So obviously they haven't exactly been having a good season
Yeah,
themselves.
13th is crazy.
Oh yeah, no, it was even worse before. I'm not gonna, which is the funniest part.
Hmm. Oh, they're
Um,
level on points with United too.
yeah. So they've definitely not been doing the business as of late.
Yeah, Tottenham, I'd say they're like a tier three team as of right now.
I can see that. I think for me, before I can move them up, I need to see them get at least some convincing wins against uh kind of those top half teams.
Hmm.
Because right now they have three, like in the last month they've had 3 wins, a draw, and 2 losses. But my issue with them is like they haven't really beaten, like they've played like anytime they've played a team in that top 10, they haven't been able to beat any of them yet. So I think so that's my only beef with them at the moment. I think when they can do that, I wouldn't I don't mind moving them up to tier 3.
Yeah.
But all right, so that's going to be it for today. So thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. And
Yeah.
yeah, again, I apologize about kind of the what's going on with my computer right now. It was unfortunate because I would have liked to, finish moving everything.
That's fine.
And then hopefully you subscribe to the channel. I like to do lives like this once a week. I try to make just different footballing videos. Like I did one today on like the new guy that Chelsea just got. I did one on Monday about Juventus getting destroyed by Atalanta. Funny enough, I actually did one about your team, Bayern, and when they dismantled Leverkusen in the first leg. So I try to do various type of analysis in that sense. So hopefully you like the channel as
Okay.
well, and hopefully I see you more regularly on these lives.
Yeah, I'll try to come in the streams whenever I have time.
All right, no problem. All right, you have a great day.
Yeah, man, you too.
Thank you. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to do something dramatic here. All right, guys. I definitely apologize for the technical difficulties. I don't know what the hell was going on and why my computer did that. So I'm just gonna slide the rest of the teams into the tiers that we agreed upon, and it's just gonna be like um, the final revision for this month. So we had Real Madrid in tier 1, Roma in tier 3, and Tottenham in tier 4. So this is kind of what the ending chart is going to look like for this month. And yeah, we're definitely going to be readjusting it again in about a month's time when we have more football that is played. And yeah, so that's going to be it for today's stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. I want to thank everybody that came on and contributed to the tier lists. And yeah, most importantly of all, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will catch you on the next one.
musicality.